everything is true. But what it don't get, I can't use. I need money. That's what I want. That's what I want. That's what I want.
Boom, we are back. The MBH podcast, episode 10. We just discussed that. We're here with our good friend Anthony Ricciardi. How you doing, man?
Thanks for coming,
great.
bro.
Yes, thank you guys so much. I am super grateful to be here and proud of what you guys are doing. So this is awesome to be
Thank
here.
you, man. Thank you, bro. Thank you.
Yeah, excited.
Yeah, listen, I want to give an introduction, but I don't want to miss anything, and I don't want to downplay anything or upplay anything. So go for it. Give us a little introduction.
Love it, for sure. So born and raised here in Toronto. I've been a creative my whole life. My profession now is an artist, but it wasn't always this way. Grew up loving sports, finance, played baseball growing up. So, went through the system of playing different sports growing up, soccer, hockey, baseball, as a lot of us do. Took a passion to baseball and wanted to pursue it to the next level. Ended up going to school in the U.S. I went to school at Alabama State University. It was on Division I baseball scholarship. But the path to get there was a little bit interesting. Like it wasn't always, I'm not oversized, I'm not big, I'm not necessarily strong. So the lessons that I learned on that journey really have transformed the rest of my life. So I think that art had always been a passion of mine, but didn't seem realistic. Like, growing up, I grew up in an Italian household. My parents are awesome, but it was never like, hey, becoming an artist is something that you could be.
It's a career.
It wasn't even like anyone ever told me that I couldn't.
Yeah.
It was just assumed.
It's
like,
it was given,
there's such thing growing up as a starving artist.
Yeah.
So I never even, growing up, although I loved art, I painted a lot, I sketched, I drew, but I never thought of it like, let me do this as a career. So that's why I didn't pursue it.
Sure.
And so I ended up going to school for baseball, but then the second thing was, hey, I like numbers, and given the title of this podcast, I like money. Yeah. Why don't I get into finance?
Yeah. Yep.
And I thought that was the way and the route that I should take, all with having this like back end burning of wanting to become an artist, but never really doing anything about it. Ended up going to school for 4 years in the U.S. and then graduating with a finance degree. Came home, ended up working for a real estate investment fund, which was something that was super interesting to me. Like to be, and we can go into the story of how I got into finance, but to be given an opportunity to work at a real estate investment fund right out of school was an incredible opportunity.
Yeah, that seems huge. For sure.
Yeah, I was super, super grateful for that opportunity. And it really, it was not a small company. It was a $200 million company, a $200 million fund. Yeah. But I was able to work with the partners directly and really have a hands-on approach to learning, which was, phenomenal coming right out of school. Yeah. And the crazy thing was I really enjoyed the work. Right, so like a lot of people ask me like, oh, when you quit to become an artist, you must have hated your work. Yeah. You must have hated. Like I actually liked it. Yeah. Like some of my best friends to this day came from that job, and like are still friends with me to this day. I talk to my old boss, all the time. Like
that's amazing.
It had nothing to do with me hating one thing and wanting to do something else. What ended up happening was I was living at home at the time. My parents had this greenhouse in the backyard, and when my grandparents passed away, I ended up sort of taking over that greenhouse as a little mini studio because I was painting my bedroom. I would paint all the time, like my whole life, just for fun. Yeah. And I started painting more and more. And I think that it almost subconsciously became an outlet for me when I was working in finance. I was like, at nights and weekends, I had my friends and family. I had a girlfriend who's now my wife. But of course, I spent so much time with all them. But then, from 10 to 2 a.m., I want to paint. Yeah. So I had this outlet now, which was the greenhouse in my parents' backyard, that I started painting in every night. And utilizing the very early days of social media, I was able to start like just posting my stuff, promoting it. Yeah. And you have, it's not like we had followers and stuff 7 years ago. It was a simple thing of family and friends being like, that's cool, man. Keep doing that. Like, hey, you could draw? Yeah. Like, I didn't know. You could paint? What is that? Like, I thought you were colorblind. I thought this, that. And I started having fun with it. And then I really started to really enjoy it and really, really like it. And then it was, so I worked in finance for 5 years. But during those 5 years, I had 3 solo shows. Like anyone that knew me outside of my office would have thought I was a full-time artist. Like everything about me, my socials, my Facebook at the time, anything that you saw that had to do with me, you would have thought I was an artist because I was doing full promo as an artist. I was doing full solo shows. Like that was just, I would rent out a place in Ossington, I'd rent out a place in Yorkville and just do like a one night show, invite family and friends.
All while you had a job.
All while I had a full-time job.
Jeez.
I was inviting everyone from my office. They're like, when did you do these?
How do you even have time?
How do you have time?
Yeah.
Right? Like, so super surreal. And then what ended up happening is I was reaching out. I took a very proactive approach to the same way that I got into university, which was I was never recruited to play Division I baseball. I reached out to all 300 schools on and on because I knew I wanted to play Division I. And I said, I'm going to do everything that it takes to find a school. I ended up finding an amazing school and going there to do well. I took the same approach with art. I started reaching out to architects, interior designers, like anyone that would listen. I'm like, I'm an artist. I have no portfolio at the time, right? It's just art that I've done. I've never done anything. But small opportunities start to come up, right? There's a little mural here, a little mural there, a little thing here. And those small opportunities over those 5 years start to get bigger.
Of course. And
like sort of the transition point to fast forward a bit was I was given an opportunity to do a mural in New York and I turned it down. Because I couldn't take off a week of work and just go do a mural. Yeah. So I turned it down. Then an opportunity comes up in Chicago because I had been reaching out to everyone North America wide.
I was going to say, but you were even reaching out in the States.
Oh, I was reaching out everywhere. I was reaching out globally.
Okay, wow.
Anyone that I could find that had an email address, I was emailing, calling, and sending for years straight, like daily. And every single night I was doing it. If I wasn't painting, I was quote unquote promoting. Mm-hmm. So I did this constantly, and these opportunities start to come up. And then the first opportunity I turned down in New York, about 3 weeks later, they call me back and they're like, listen, so I had talked to my boss and I said, I gotta go do this mural. I had vacation hours. Yeah. And he's like, no, listen, like, no. The answer is no. Like I had already I was about to take off time for my honeymoon, which was coming up. I had already taken 2 weeks off and I had 3 weeks vacation. I was like, I'm going to take the other week to go paint. He's like, you're not going to paint. Like, you're not an artist. Like, no. And wow. This is actually my second boss. I left companies, and we'll speak about that when we talk about money later. Yeah. But I'm like, okay, fine, I'm not going to go. Then that opportunity came back up, and they're like, listen, the artist that we hired flopped on us, and we're opening up in 2 weeks. We need you. I was like, perfect. It was a Wednesday night. I sent my boss an email that Wednesday night, and I said, hey, can I speak to you in the morning? Thursday morning, I went in, quit, and Friday flew to New York.
Holy shit.
And Friday flew to New York, did the mural, and have been head down ever since. So it's it's definitely and that was it seems so long ago, and it is, I guess, but it was only 3.5 years ago. Yeah. So so that's why I've been full time now. Just over 3 years, I guess. And just been, and now I'm a full-time artist. Had we can dig into the galleries, but I've had galleries sort of globally now. Had 3 staples here in Toronto for the last 3 years, and that's
when kind of did Yorkdale come into play? Because I think that's kind of and even for myself, I know Ernesto kind of knew you personally earlier and stuff like that, but for me, I really started to see your brand and your name in Yorkdale. I'm walking around Yorkdale, I'm like, this, first of all, I've never seen a gallery inside Yorkdale. Like, this is fucking dope.
It was very new to see. Yeah,
that was new. So when did that happen? Because I feel like that was probably and you can let me know if that was a big jump in your career. I guess. Sure.
Yeah, so Yorkdale, for anyone that's listening from outside of Toronto, is like one of the, actually on a North America wide scale, like one of the top luxury malls in North America. Top 3 luxury malls per square footage in North America, and it's the mall that I grew up in, the mall that I worked in for years. Throughout high school, I worked at different retail shops, Foot Locker, G Machine, whatever it was. Nice. I worked at Mex. I worked at a bunch of stores in Yorkdale because I grew up just around the corner. So to have a gallery there now is beyond surreal, obviously, because I grew up in it.
Well, you're like third gallery now.
Yeah.
Hey, listen. But let the people know, man. Let the people know.
So when I started, like, I always had this approach that if I wanted, I didn't come from a typical art background. So meaning that I was reaching out to galleries early in my career, but they're like, who are you, bro? Like, what do you mean? Like, okay, what art school did you go to? What is your portfolio? I'm like, I don't know what you guys are talking about. I'm just going to be out here hustling. I don't know what to do. Like, I want to do art. Yeah. So I had no formal approach to what I want to do, but I knew that my concept was, like, if I want to sell art to people who don't typically buy art, I have to sell it in a place where people don't typically buy art. Right, that was like my whole overall concept. And I started to think about shopping centers and malls and different things. And I started looking around, like, wait, why do none of these malls have galleries? Started to reach out, and historically, galleries and malls don't do well. Sure. In the 80s, it was a big thing, but from the 90s on, it's just never been done again.
Wow.
And I'm like, well, that's because the 80s art was very different than what we're doing today, than what I'm doing. And it didn't even come from a place like I'm better than any other. It's just that like, it just hasn't been done in such a long time. Let's give people a new experience.
Yeah.
And I started reaching out to all the malls. And lucky for me, Yorkdale was one that reached back out. And was so, I mean, when I say reach back out, it was like 6 months of me emailing and being annoying.
Yeah.
And being like, listen, this is why I think it'll work. Give me a day. So what happened was I would go around Yorkdale and take pictures of vacant spots. And they didn't have many. I would take and send it to their marketing team. Be like, give me the space. Give me the space for a day.
Come on.
Like I would just say, like, I'll front the whole entire. Like, give me the space for the day. Finally, they respond with like, you know what? We will give you a Saturday and Sunday in one of these spaces. But like, you gotta PR it. You gotta do all the promo. You gotta outfit it. Like, I had to do it all out for a 2-day pop up.
Jeez.
With no expectations, and Yorkdale's not cheap.
Yeah,
right. Let's say, as I started with, is the #1 luxury mall in the world. There's a reason that like Harry Rosen, Rolex, and Tiffany are on the same hallway.
Yeah.
Sure.
I'm going to be in that same hallway, so I have to understand that the level of what I do has to be at their level.
Yeah.
Of course, it can't be, but it has to be looking like
Yeah. To that standard.
So I said, I got it. We'll do it. Let's do it. So I did all this prep for about 2 months, created a whole entire collection of art, had it all outfitted. And I mean, as a gallery, there's not that much outfitting that you need to do. It's not like a clothing store. We need racks and stuff. It was pretty simple, right? Like hanging, making the walls look pretty and all that stuff. We did it for 2 days. That was the concept. We were going to open up on a Saturday night. We had an opening party Friday, open up on Friday night, Saturday, Sunday, and close Monday. Incredible opening party with a ton of press and PR behind it, just because of something different, like we were saying. Yeah. Saturday and Sunday went incredible. We came close to selling out the entire show, which we didn't expect to sell out anything.
Wow. Yeah.
I didn't. I just thought it was going to be promotion.
Yeah.
Like, you can't think to sell when you're going into these situations. You got to think for the best case scenario, people will come.
Yeah.
So it went really well in Yorkdale on Sunday evening. It was like, hey, you want to go a couple more days? Want to go to Friday? I'm like, yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
That week went excellent. They're like, perfect. We're going to extend you 30 days. And that 30 days is turned in 3 years.
Yeah.
So we've been just rolling since then. And because of my art being so flexible, like I can do different installations and stuff. As new locations in the shopping center have popped open, I've been like, hey, I have a new concept for a whole new, brand new, crazy type of gallery. Let's do it over there. Yeah. And they're like, cool, let's do it. And it's given me 3 times to sort of reinvent the way I'm showcasing artwork,
which is crazy,
which is super. You know, that's why the collaboration. I'm so grateful for Yorkdale, because they were open to it. It's like, oh, Anthony, you want to do an installation with grass and huge flowers and a pool full of money that people can jump in, and you have art all around it? Yeah, let's do it. Oh, Anthony, you want to put 70 paintings all over the floor and have all these different things? Yeah, let's do it. You want to do, like, and they're like, wild. Go ahead, let's have fun. Like, I'm fronting it, so I can be like, I want to do this. Are you guys down? They're like, let's do it. So they've ended up becoming a partner of mine in all these projects, which has been fantastic. And
I feel like
super
I feel like that's huge though, and that's tough because like look at the Yorkdale brand, right? And like how serious and strict they are with that, right? And then look at your art, we see over there, how it's kind of just like all over the place, abstract and stuff. So for them to kind of even take something on like that and attach it to their brand,
you would assume they're so corporate. Where it's like,
that's huge.
No,
man.
get out of
that's
here.
huge.
You know, like
no, and I mean that's why.
But you're downplaying the fact too that you hit them up a lot, you know, and then people gotta know that because. You didn't just hit them up once and they're like, yeah, let's do it, right? Like it took time and you kind of had to put your pride aside and say, I don't care if I look like an idiot just hitting them up or hitting up all these people. Like I really want to do art, right? And you put everything aside for that.
The one tactic that I think a lot of people can take away from that and that I've used through almost from my university to my finance career to now art is there's one thing about reaching out to people a lot, one thing about being annoying, and one thing about structurally reaching out to people. So I think that I've structurally reached out to everything that I've ever done by leading in with whatever portfolio I had at the time. A lot of artists come to me, a lot of creatives, it doesn't matter, photographer, videographer, whatever it is. They're like, yeah, but my portfolio's not big enough. I'm like, bro, I don't care how big. You can have one video, you can have one photo, one photography
that you like,
whatever that you care about. Send that. You send that, and then when all my update emails were just what I was doing in the moment. I wasn't resending them that. I was just like, hey team, this is what I worked on the last 2 weeks, and this is why I worked on it. This is my inspiration behind it. Just wanted to share it with you. They can ignore it.
Of course.
But after I continuously am progressing, and if that individual goes back and looks at the last 3 months of emails, they'll be like, wait, he has been progressing. He hasn't just been yo, can I get a space?
Or like emailing me a question mark.
Yeah.
Hey guys, you didn't answer.
Hey, you didn't answer. No,
Yeah.
I was like, I just assumed they were reading it, but not caring.
Yeah.
And just being like, I'm going to give you, my portfolio is going to grow in your inbox over the next 6 months.
Yeah.
But it's like you were, sorry to cut you off. You're doing that and very structured in the way that you sent your emails. But also, I'm assuming your email is not Anthony Ricciardi Paints at hotmail.com. It's coming from a professional thing. You have your website that's always being updated with your portfolio. Your social channels are growing all at the same time. So when you say structure, it's not even just from an email standpoint. It's that you were going out there and still keeping everything else up to date. So by the 500th email, they're like, hold on, let me check this guy's gram.
They were pretty much thinking probably this guy's going to do whatever he said anyways, so we might as well just hop on and get on. Because he's showing us he's going to do it anyways.
For sure. But yes, the answer of having structure that way is important. But what I have to let a lot of people know is that it doesn't have to be that way.
Okay.
And I didn't take that approach until much later, unfortunately. When I wanted to get my bigger deals, when I wanted to do a show in Miami, when I wanted to do the third gallery in Yorkdale and have to pitch it to them, when I wanted to do the gallery in Yorkville, when I wanted to do like a bigger collaboration with Coors or like whatever brands I've done stuff.
Yeah.
Then my over time, my website had to match my portfolio. My portfolio had to match my Instagram. My Instagram had to match my emails. Then it's become a little more structured. But when I think back to how I reached out, because I think about it as grassroots as possible, like how I reached out to universities, it was a video of me like pitching. I was a pitcher. In like a small local park.
So you're sending them videos of you pitching.
Like, I'm sending them videos of me like just by myself.
Yeah.
Sometimes I would send them videos of my workouts.
Yeah.
Like, and I don't care. I didn't know if they wanted that. They probably didn't want it.
Yeah.
But the whole concept that I've lived by is that I reached out to 300 schools, all 6 coaches on every single team for about a year. My concept, I didn't want to get into 300 schools. I wanted to get to 1.
Yeah.
So after only 3 respond after the first 300, that's cool because I'm closer to getting 1.
Straight
But
up.
all I needed was 1.
Yeah.
And the concept with the collaborations, the brand collaboration, the concept with my gallery is that I can reach out to 80 locations. I only need 1 gallery.
Yeah.
And so to have it all structured helps you get that 1, but I don't want that to be an excuse for people not to start.
Of course.
No, for sure.
Right?
100%. Should
so
never
you,
be.
you and I know, we know that the structure will allow them to check the box quicker.
Yeah.
But I see so many young creatives, so many young people like that being like, well, I can't start because I don't have it structured yet.
Yeah.
Right? That's just an
I don't
excuse.
agree with that.
It's a laziness excuse.
It is.
I think eventually you should structure it.
It'll
I think
happen. It's going to happen over
happens,
time.
right?
And it's necessary to
course.
grow, but not to start.
Yeah, you don't because you don't need to sit down. You don't need to have all that stuff and go get a course right away. You don't need that.
No. You just need
You just need, like you said, you just need 1, and that could be 1 gallery, 1 client, 1 partner.
Yep.
That's how you can start, right? And it doesn't have to be that whole structure. But you said, it's much easier. Once you have that, then all these brands come to you, and it's so easy. You have all your past. That's your whole past right there.
And at what point did you say, okay, cool, like now my socials got to step up and my website has to step up? Like at what point for you where you're like, okay, now it's time to do that so I can reach out to Coors and these guys and Adidas and whoever? Yeah.
So I want to, for sure, I want to take 1 step back from that to see how I was able to get those brands early on. That a lot of people were like,
please.
How did you even get the Coors, or how did you even finance it? So one thing that unfortunately has happened a lot is people or young creatives reaching out to me, whether they're OCAD grads, whether they're creative grads, whatever they are, like, cool, I'm not going to get a job. I'm just going to do what you did. Or I've had people literally come up to me over the last 3 years and be like, I quit my job because of you and I'm becoming an artist. I'm going to become a photographer. I'm like, bro, I didn't tell you to do that. Like, I didn't say that. What I said, if you actually listened or watched what I did, was I worked for a full finance job. I was working from 6 to 7 p.m., 6 a.m. to 7 p.m. every day of the week, so 5 days a week in finance in a cubicle to finance what I wanted to be able to do.
Fund what you wanted to do.
To fund what I wanted to be able to do. And I learned a good lesson early on was I told a story about my second boss not being supportive of me wanting to do art. And what happened was I'm working for this one company. I was making fine money. I'm 22 years old, and this is great. This is cool. And I wanted to become an artist. So I had told my boss at the time, I'm actually quitting to become an artist. And he was so supportive. He was a creative individual, and like he understood what it took to be an entrepreneur because he was one of the partners of this huge fund. He understood what it took. And he's like, don't do it yet, man. He's like, you're about to get married in a couple of years. I'm telling you, just have structure. Just do everything you can at every hour that you have sparing to become that artist. Like, don't just quit.
Yeah.
And that's the one lesson I wanted to leave for sure. Everyone is like, don't just leave something because you think it's even better. Like we have 24 hours in a day. Spend every bleeding hour that you can outside of your work to do what you love.
Yeah.
So he told me this, and he actually offered me, which is an incredible offer. And I look back at it now and it's surreal. He goes, why don't you start working from home? This is literally my boss at a finance company. Like,
and how long ago was this?
This is 4 years ago.
Yeah, which that wasn't normal.
5 years ago. 5 years ago.
Yeah, that wasn't normal 5 years ago.
Yeah. 5 years ago, and he's like, go paint all day, and whenever I need you to do something, you can do something. Come into the office when you need to come into the office, but I understand you want to grow this. That's how nice this guy was.
That's crazy.
And I didn't take him up on the offer because I thought what I was actually chasing was money. I thought that art meant money for some reason, some crazy reason. And what ended up happening was I didn't take him up on the offer. The offer was honestly too good. Yeah. So I just said, no, it's okay. I'm going to keep working here. I'm going to be a devoted employee. A month after that, I get a company that reaches out to me. Hey, we want to hire you, like, from a recruiter, blah, blah, blah. Double pay. Like, double the money. Like, you have to understand, I'm 22. I'm about to buy my first house, about to get married soon. I have life expenses. You're going to go from making X, and in the finance world, X is pretty good, to double. 100% double.
That's fucked,
And to do the exact same job. I'm being as transparent as possible. I'm telling you guys the truth. Like, to do the exact same job, Anthony, at a bigger company, double pay. Yeah. I'm just like, all right, let's go.
Man, let's go.
This sounds,
sign me up.
This sounds great. This sounds great. And everything on the forefront of that company looked incredible. I went to the office brand new. We had a ping pong table downstairs and a beer tap, and all the guys are young and cool and all this different stuff. And that's all on the forefront. Because when I get in there, I'm miserable. And the money, it was the first time in my life I was able to say, like, the money that I made, it was the first time I ever realized I'm so grateful I made that jump. Even though it was a bad jump, in my life, I made it to understand the value of money is useless.
Yeah.
And that is to say, when we talk about money bringing happiness, and it has nothing to do with that. It has to do with the money. This is we got a ghost. We got a ghost in here just knocking at the radiators. What it taught me early on was that I have to do things that I love to make money. And then you have extreme happiness. I was miserable every single day I went to that job. I just came from loving something to being miserable every day, making double money when I should have been in orbit. This is incredible. 100%. I say that story to say that what that taught me about the early days of my art career was that I'm going to have to do a ton for free because I love it. And that's what it came down to. When people say, how did you build your portfolio with a lot of those early brands, those companies? Because I didn't charge them.
Did it free.
I usually, I quit my job making a lot of money.
Sure.
I quit my job for a free mural in New York that I paid for the flight and I paid for all the supplies. That mural I told you I quit in New York.
Free, you were losing.
No, I lost. I lost $1,200, $1,500 to fly. They put me up in a hotel, but I flew there. I got all the supplies. I bought all the things. I did everything myself. I ate. I paid for my meals. I did everything myself. I quit my job for something free. Like people don't understand that. Like it was everyone just thinks that Coors just gonna pay me $30,000 to do a mural just because. Like
no, it's
no. It takes the portfolio and the structure that you're saying. But that portfolio is only built through ridiculous amount of work and a ridiculous amount of
100%
of things. So I say a story about learning about money because I had to understand the hard way about quitting and almost turning my back on a company and a boss that supported me to say, like, I'm going to leave here for more money. And I'm friends with him to this day, and we laugh about it. He's like, you took that little left to make a couple more bucks, but you didn't. And now you're an artist. It's funny. Both of those companies, both my old companies, have either bought multiple pieces of art for their offices or murals from me in the past, which is crazy. I've kept a good relationship with all of them. It's been surreal to be so full circle. But now I'm continuously doing work with them, which is crazy. So say all that to say that in the building times, you're going to have to start by doing it nights and weekends. You're going to have to start middle of nights and weekends. And and a lot of times free at the start.
We
Let's
talk
be
about
honest.
free work
Free
all
work
the
is
time,
huge, and there's one person I was talking to, and he wants to start offering marketing services, right? And he's never done it before.
Yep.
So he's like, I'm putting it out there that I offer these marketing services, and no one's biting. And I'm like, okay, send me your page. And I go to his page, and there's nothing to do with any of the marketing services that he's providing. I said, have you actually even done them?
Yeah.
And he's like sometimes, like here and there. I'm like, listen, hit up like 10 companies and offer them free work.
Yes.
And use those all as case studies. So now the friends that follow you are gonna be like, oh, he actually did that restaurant. Oh, maybe I can trust him with my website.
Yep.
Right. So, but you have to take that step, and that's the hardest step to take, because like you have to let your pride go. You have to let all that stuff go and just say, I'm doing this for the future. I'm not doing this for now. Right.
Yeah.
And that's I'm happy you brought that up, because a lot of people getting into an industry as a creative will just expect things right away. Expect money, expect jobs, expect clients, and it's not like that at all, right? You really have to put yourself out there, and the best way is, I'll do it for free.
Yep.
Hey,
exactly.
I'll do it for free.
But you also set yourself up for that, like you were saying. Like you worked and did that stuff nights and weekends.
Yeah, you have to do it. You have to do the work. Right? A lot
That's
of
behind the scenes. No one knows that. A lot of people don't know that you still had that full-time job, right? So people look at you and they're like, oh, he just quit his job, start paying. I'm going to do that.
Yeah.
But like you need to.
It's 5 years.
Yeah, it's 5 years.
Your job was
hard.
still supporting your dream, right? So you're still.
I
your
had to
whole
afford
day.
the canvases when I wasn't selling them.
Yeah, your whole day went
Right.
towards your dream, whether you were at work in a financial industry, because that money was going towards what you wanted to do in life, right?
Yep.
So you were still dedicating every hour. You just had 2 jobs technically, right? Which is okay,
100%.
which is, you need it most of the time to start off, right?
Yeah, and family and friends. A lot of people don't understand the balance of just having a true life.
Yeah.
Right? Like burnout is real.
Yeah.
Oh,
When we get
super
tired
real.
is real, right? And I've been lucky to have a girlfriend, fiance, and wife, and now a son.
Yeah.
Where I've grown up with. We've been together for 13 years. We've been together since grade 10.
Yeah.
And keeping that relationship the whole entire time with my parents and my cousins and my friends has been crucial.
So your home
through all
base.
this.
And that's not
Crucial.
easy to do, bro.
No,
That's
it's
easy to
not
do,
because
man.
especially like and then I think that when you put out your real work organically all the time, like people know that I'm in the gallery all the time. People know, like no one bothered me anymore when I was working from 9 to 2. They're like, oh, Ant's working in the studio. That's what he does.
Yeah.
and it became like
It's just
real
because
work
what he
for
does.
them.
Yeah, like I see what you guys do, right? And I applaud it to the nth degree, because there's a lot of people that will start a company new or whether it's 2 years in, 6 years in, 10 years in, that aren't actually putting the consistent work in.
Yeah.
Consistency is absolutely
the key.
everything.
I
And
read
you
your
guys,
story this morning. And
there you go.
Had that on there.
So
yeah.
I'm super hurt. I have a calf injury, so I haven't been able to work out in the morning. But I'm still waking up every morning at 5 a.m. because I want to read, I want to journal, I want to get in the motion of working out, not actually work out, but just keep the consistency. Because when people saw that I'm working, they stopped bothering me in the sense of like with silly things. Like, right, they wouldn't bother, they wouldn't reach out to me for something that, let's just go do this to waste some time. Like, I don't waste time. Right? Like, bro, I'll come over to your house for a barbecue. We'll have a nice dinner together. Let's do it all day. Yeah. But I'm not going to just waste time with you on the afternoon.
Yeah, but it takes people seeing you consistently do that.
And they know it's not fake.
Yeah.
Right? Because I had some times where I've reached out to a friend and be like, hey, let's do I have a day off or whatever I want to call a day off. And I'd be like, hey, let's go do something. Oh, no, I'm so stressed out. I got so much work today. I'm like, bro, what did you do the last 7 days? I know you didn't do anything for 7 days. And I'm using that as an example. Yeah. But maybe it's an extreme example, but it's true. Sure. Yeah. Whereas, you can't pick and choose your work. You make it a part of your lifestyle. And then a lot of the whole thing, work-life balance, a lot of people reach out to me about, it's like, oh my God, I love your work-life balance. I'm like, there's no such thing in a creative's life or an entrepreneur's life as work-life balance. Like, my wife and son are with me every single day.
They're part of your work.
Lunch, and dinner.
Yeah.
I'm super grateful for that. With my son, who's 9 months
unreal.
old.
That's unreal.
I get to eat every meal with them. I get to be with them all the time because my life is my work. I just do it all as one.
Yeah.
But everyone needs to understand that I made that a consistent thing.
Of course.
And it took time to build that. You can't just, like you're saying, you can't just quit and start up anything and think that your life's going to be like that.
And over time, it takes time. It doesn't take a week of you, let's say, putting on your story that you're in the studio working. It takes years of you doing it for one person to realize, oh, he's probably busy. Yeah. It took a year of them seeing that, right?
Yeah, and then they're like, oh, he's probably,
and busy. Going back to even you waking up early because you want to keep that consistent. Yeah, because when it comes back to it and you actually have to wake up and go for that run, you'll be ready.
100%. And also, you just have a better day. It's a longer day.
Yeah. Longer days.
Like, a lot of my good friends that I speak to on a daily basis or a weekly basis, they're like, oh, I'm so busy at work. I'm so sorry. I'm like, bro, what time did you wake up? I woke up at 8:30. I had a call at 9. But if you would have woke up at 5 and got 2.5 hours, 3 hours in of personal work that you wanted to do, your day would not start busy. And then you're full with all these useless meetings in the middle of a finance day or a business day. And then you get home and you're stressed and you're tired. And then you want to decompress with your family, which is totally right. Like normal, you want to hang out with your wife, your girlfriend, your friends. That's real. Your dog, right? And then you got to go to sleep and redo it. So if you're not actually maximizing the most out of your day, you physically can't. You can't have the balance.
You just feel like a robot at that point.
100%.
You have to treat it all like it's just part of your lifestyle. And that's something that I've been trying to like realize. I'm just like, yo, I'm always so busy and shit. And I'm just like, you know what? This is fucking life now.
You know,
we've life. And I love it personally. Like I like being busy all the time and doing a lot of shit the most I can do. But it took me recently just to realize like it's not really a job anymore. This is like I'm dedicating my whole life to this and everything. All those pieces, friends, family, they're all kind of, I'm trying to tie them in with this as much as possible because that's what it is, right? That's how you get to experience everything and have that kind of balance, let's say, even though it's never really fully balanced.
No, it's not. But
you can find ways to do it,
new
right?
Definition of it, yeah. And then, you know, when we go to happiness, which is the second part, and like the name of this podcast, money brings happiness.
Money buys happiness.
I'll buy. Sorry,
okay. It brings happiness too, though.
Buys. One quote that I always used to write on my painting was less money, more problems. Because I believe it.
That's a fact.
I remember seeing that.
I've done it. I've done it on a lot of paintings, but less money, and like I write, "This isn't luck," like dice a lot, because that has a direct reference to money as well. When you're happy with what you're doing every day, having extra money does bring happiness. I don't care what anyone says.
For sure.
Right? Like we can. Yes, if you have internal problems, if we're going to go into problems with drinking, drugs, addiction, anything of these other issues that come up when people have money or amplify when people have money, then no, it's not going to bring you happiness. If you're internally at a wrong state in life, you got to look to fix that because that's money will not help that. And I don't care what anyone says. But when you're happy with what you're doing, when you know that you're working towards a purpose, when you're actually enjoying your day to day, all day.
100%.
And that's also what Matt Campoli said. I'm going to bring it back, but
I love
he said something really cool, and he said you can be a douchebag with $10 million, or you could be a fucking nice guy with $10 million, or you can be and without that $10 million, you're still a douchebag and you're still a nice guy.
Yeah, it depends on the person you are. If you're a good person,
amplifies. He was saying it amplifies the person you are
all day.
He actually said cocksucker.
Oh, he said cocksucker. He said cocksucker. Yeah, he said cocksucker.
He said you're a cocksucker with $10. You're a cocksucker with $10 million.
Yeah, and you know what? It's
very
true. It's true.
Yeah.
Right. And
if anything, like one thing I know you guys like Gary Vee a lot, so do I.
Yeah.
He said exposes you, right?
Yeah.
More money just exposes the douche you are.
Yeah.
Right. So it's
But I like what you said though, because you're like, you know, if you have internal issues, whatever they may be, money won't.
Money's not going to fix that.
Money's not going to fix that.
No. But that's not what we're talking about. And I don't think that's what you guys are talking about either. When you say money buys happiness, that's not.
When we say money buys happiness, and the reason we called this podcast, we gave it that name was because this podcast is obviously geared towards people who want to know more about business, marketing, and they want to learn about the industries and the types of people that we bring on here and stuff. So they're working towards a goal of probably building a business or building their freelance business or getting a better job or moving up in their business, whatever. And obviously, what comes with that is money.
Money all day.
Right?
Yeah.
I think it's just the whole freedom aspect of it.
Yeah.
We get into it a couple times.
And even like investing in yourself, whether that like sometimes it is for money, like with money, right? And you invest
100%. You need
a
to
shitload of money, right?
Yeah.
Whether it was for your brand or yourself or your family, like you needed that money and you wanted to invest in yourself, and from that you saw happiness in return, right? So it can be on a really small scale when you're talking about I'm going to invest this $2,000 into a website that's going to make me happy because my business is at a bigger scale now, or you could say I need money because I need to buy a house for my family. So the scale is crazy, right? But I really
and also
agree
the
with
ability to buy things you want.
Exactly.
The freedom aspect of it.
The freedom aspect
Travel.
is so travel. Like I would when Cass and I were in Vegas just before COVID happened. It was our anniversary the next week, and we had went to Vegas because of our anniversary. But I had meetings, and we're like, you know what? It wasn't the weather. This is really funny. The weather wasn't great. It wasn't that warm or anything. Like we wanted to get out of the cold. It was like snowing here. Like we wanted to get out of the cold, and we're like, let's just go to Miami. Let's go. We go home. We packed more clothes, and literally the next day we flew to Miami.
That's amazing.
We needed money to do that.
Yeah,
of course.
And it has not an extreme amount of money. I'm not trying to say that in any sense.
Yeah.
What I'm trying to say is like that brought us happiness in that moment.
For sure.
And it was only capable with monetary.
And I like that you said that too, because it could have just been a trip. Like, I think when people hear us say money buys happiness, they're picturing us with Ferraris and mansions.
No.
It could
like
be.
I just said, I rented a cute little cottage in Muskoka
Right?
for 5 days. Even the
You still needed money to do
You
that.
just needed a little bit. That brought us happiness.
Of course, right?
Right? Like
And
you just want to be able to do things that bring you happiness.
of course, right? And that's a big thing too. Like, people just think about it. Oh, like these guys are talking about the fucking having a Lamborghini and having all these hot girls and a crazy mansion and a pool in Miami. And no, like I could walk down the street. I have $20. I could buy lunch. It's fucking gonna make me happy.
Yeah. Well, if you retract to everything we've said so far, it's been 1,000 emails.
Yeah.
Sleepless nights. Really, really super hard work. None of that
Yeah.
equals. None of it. We didn't say what. None of us. All three of us have not brought up. Oh, the car or the watch that we get on the back end.
yeah.
No, that might happen.
Yeah.
But it's the whole process which brought the happiness.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like that's
Of course.
the beauty.
You know what? We had now talking about the cars and the watch. we shot a podcast yesterday with our good friend Chris, realtor. He's doing great things. We were talking about some things, and I said I wanted to put a poll on Instagram, and I still haven't, but I will do it today. Just talking to and see, if someone posts up like a new car or a new watch or something that they were able to purchase, like I wanted to see if people thought that was like an ignorant thing or if they were just cool with it.
Yeah.
And I guess the way that I see it is like, if I see you post your watch, I'm looking at everything else you've done and I'm like, well, this guy's worked fucking hard to get that.
Yeah.
So if he wants to post one of his W's,
Yep.
let him post his W's.
Yep.
We're afraid of letting people post their W's because it's like an ignorance thing, but it's like, but let the guy live, man. He worked hard for it.
And going back to, it's about how you even marketed that aspect, right? So if you posted the watch, like we said before, and said, it's my fucking new watch, fuck the haters, right? Or if you posted the watch and said, been working my fucking ass off, finally got this dream watch I wanted the last 10 years.
There's a way to do it.
Yeah.
I'm going to look at that completely differently, right?
Yeah.
And people might like both. People might like you saying, everyone fuck off, it's my new watch. Like there's some people that might like that more. But me knowing your story and me knowing you and the way you portray yourself online, it's like, oh fuck, good for him. He fucking deserves that, right?
I don't do either.
Yeah.
Like right, like so I have a few watches, I have this, or I've traveled and different stuff. I've never openly posted my watch,
of course,
but it's on my wrist.
Yeah.
So someone who knows or don't,
sure.
right?
But
Like,
it can even be a piece of your work, for example.
of course,
right?
Like, or it could be my artwork hung in a beautiful home.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Right, like that would be my way of doing. I would showcase that because that is the difference between like a realtor showcasing a house they do would be like me showcasing a piece of art. The realtor showcasing the Mercedes SLS that he bought after selling that house is a different way to do it. But him just driving it and having a video driving it is all that's necessary.
Correct. Yeah.
Right? Because this is the second part of what happens, like in the mentality that I have at least behind it, is that the person that I am attracting, or I would only buy things if I love them, so that's why I would buy if I love it. But the person that I'm attracting, or that's going to buy more of my art, knows what that car is, knows what that watch is, knows what it takes to be in a limo.
You don't need to show them.
Don't need to say it.
And knows what it means.
Knows what it means to get that.
Yeah.
Like
exactly.
they understand. Like I know I have a passion for watches, so I know everything there is to know about luxury watches. So when I walking by the street and I see someone with like a rubber band Richard Mille on, I know what that is, but 97% of people may not.
I have no idea.
The guy's walking around with $1 million on his wrist.
But
That's really
are you
cool.
thinking when you look at it like, holy shit, what does this guy do and how much work has he put in?
all day?
See, that's the
All
difference.
day.
That's the
And he doesn't
mindset.
need to say anything about it. It's
Exactly.
just there.
It speaks for itself.
It speaks.
Yeah.
And I think that that's the way I approach it.
Sure.
But I know I have friends, close friends. They'll be like, yo, I got a new watch.
Yeah.
I have friends, like I have a couple friends out in LA that do that specifically and build the entire brand.
Their brands around them just showing off their stuff.
Is showing off stuff,
Yeah.
which is all
That's
good
them.
as well.
Yeah.
That's
It's
the
all
vibe.
good
It's the
as well.
vibe. Yeah.
And then to the last one is like, screw the haters, this and that, all that fun stuff. That came from somewhere. And I don't knock that system either.
Yeah.
Because I have no idea what that person had to do from age 3 to 18 to get out of poverty, abuse, addiction, whatever it is they have to come over. We have no idea people's stories. Right? You have no idea what anyone's gone through. So when that person says that, he may be getting a lot of hate, and he wants to say like, "Screw you guys."
And you know what? He might actually target a group of people that feel the same as him.
Same boat. Yeah.
Right. So
That's
maybe
why
he didn't target me. Maybe I look at him and I'm like, okay, I wouldn't do that.
Yeah.
I don't really agree with that. But maybe there's 20 other people right behind me that are like, it's my fucking guy right
like
there.
this.
Yeah.
It's my fucking guy right there. Right?
I think that that's important.
Yeah.
I think they're all right. All not showcasing it, but wearing it.
Yeah.
showcasing and telling everyone to screw themselves, or just showcasing like I'm so proud of myself, are all right.
Yeah. It's just
Right?
about what you're trying to put out there.
Yeah, and if it's organic,
the type of
like what you said was, I see everything you do, Anthony. So I know if you're wearing a certain watch or a certain car, blah blah blah, you deserved it.
Yeah.
If my whole life showcases that, why I hate haters,
Yeah.
why I'm proud of myself, or why I just do it subtly,
Yeah.
proves that, then it's okay.
Of course.
Yeah.
When it's fake,
organic.
it's
That's what you're
different.
saying. Yeah.
When it's fake, everyone knows it and everyone hates it.
100%.
Yeah.
I want to talk about just your drive in general, because I think you have a crazy drive, and it's very inspiring to see every day. And I'm sure a lot of people think the same, right? So
Thank you.
Not everyone has that kind of drive, and I personally feel like you're born with it at a certain point. You can learn drive, but I feel like you're born with it, right? So where did that drive come from? Because you mentioned a lot of things, and I like to think my drive came from sports a little bit, because I was so competitive in soccer and teamwork and learning about coaches, being taught. That whole thing made me very competitive and had a drive in me. So I was wondering if it's the same for you with baseball, or did it just come over time, or was it a mix of the financial industry, baseball, everything?
For sure. So I used to always. Okay, so I know it came from team sports.
Yeah.
Like I know it came from competitive team sports, but I get shied away from saying it at scale now. Like when I speak to, or I'm doing a public speaking event, or I'm speaking to people, or on a podcast, when I say that, I can easily say right now that baseball and structured high level sports allowed me to have the drive that I have. 8 people will turn off the podcast now saying like, I didn't play sports, see you later. That's why I can't do it. The actual answer is just actually understanding what a human is capable of doing.
Yes.
And when you actually, like when I've taken the step back and said, what can I actually do as a human? The answer is absolutely anything.
Anything you want.
Like literally.
Yeah.
Anything.
Yeah.
When I say like, if I want to become an astronaut, I legitimately can. Now, one thing my dad always reminds me, and because I say this often, you could do anything you want. And we joke around. I joke around with my parents, my friends. Like, I can't be a linebacker for the Green Bay Packers. I cannot. Physically, I cannot. But what I can do is be a coach. I can be a strategy coach. I can be a mental coach for them. I can be a trainer.
Physio.
I can be a physio. I can do something in that. Like I could not. My quote unquote God-given ability got me so far in baseball. But I wasn't going to be a major league superstar. Like I trained disgustingly hard to get to where I was, but I was not going to be an MLB superstar. But I was able to play Division I. But I was able to start a pitching school when I graduated. That had thousands of kids that I coached throughout Ontario. I was able to do a bunch of things with baseball. After. So of course. What I like the overall thing is like I think the drive comes from just the understanding of what we're capable of doing. And then the last drive for me is like I'm really, really, really scared about waking up at 40, at 50. And that doesn't mean people that are 50 should be. I'd be scared. If I was 50, I'd be scared about waking up at 75 and being like, damn, I just wasted the last 25 years of my life.
Yeah, like I didn't do what I loved.
And if you're 75, be like, I don't want to wake up at 80. And be like, why didn't I spend those last 5 years amazing? And that's what I'm worried about. Like, so I'm 28 now. So I look at when I'm 35 is so many years away.
Oh,
right?
Yeah.
You can do a lot.
I can do
well, just think about what happened in the last 7 years.
What I did in the last 3 years.
Now
I'm going to, 7 years from now, I'm going to be only 35. And I say that to say, if you're 40 or if you're 50 listening to this and be like, in 10 years, I'll be 60. I'm still young. And I think you have to get to a point of being scared of that. And that's what I tell a couple of my friends that I speak to all the time, like that don't live in Toronto or live in the US, and be like, dude, I'm just scared about waking up at 55. I mean, I didn't do everything I could have.
It's that constant pressure.
I think that's probably the worst thing, man. That probably eat away at you for sure.
What keeps you going?
Knowing when I have it, so there's some days that I'll be like, I know Sunday, this Sunday coming up, I'm gonna sleep in. I'm gonna sleep in. I'm gonna wake up at 10. I'm gonna play with my son. We're just gonna throw him around and eat breakfast. We're gonna eat bad, and I know I'm gonna do that. But if this morning I slept until 9 or 10, which I could have, I would the rest of my day and probably the rest of my week I would have felt horrible.
Of course.
Yeah, thrown off.
Just
now.
knowing that I didn't get the most out of my day possible. And that doesn't mean I'm always like go, meeting here, running here, making money, this, that. No, it's nothing to do with that.
Could be sitting down just working on something.
It could just be just writing in a journal, but I just know I took a step forward. And that's all. That's it. So to answer the question of like where my drive comes from, it's being scared of waking up in 5 years, 7 years, 12 years and be like, damn, what did I do? Because I had this revelation the other day. my sister-in-law just turned 19, and I have a picture of her sitting on my lap when she was 4.
Oh my God.
And
Crazy.
I go to my wife. I'm like, this is really scary, because it was the first time in my life I felt quote unquote old.
Sure.
I'm like, I have this picture of Liv sitting on my lap at 4 years old, and we just had a beer.
Yeah.
Yeah, 'cause she just turned 19.
That's crazy.
And I'm like, this is insane. And I went back to think, and I remember calling my friend. I go, yo, can you imagine being 19? Like, if I went back right now to 19,
Yeah.
it would be insane. It's what our parents used to tell us. Oh, if I was your age, what I would do.
Yeah.
Right? But now we have this hindsight to say, like, if I was 19, the 10 years from 19 to 28 or 19 to 29, let's say, I would have done so much more, because I know what my potential is. But now I say, I'm 28. At 38, it's going to come as quickly as it did from 19 to now.
Yeah.
I don't want to be 38 and be like, damn, at 28?
Yeah.
If I was 28, it would be so sick to be 28. That's what I'm scared of.
No,
And that's
sure.
where all of my drive and wanting to do better as an individual comes from, not wanting to wake up in 10 years and be like, I just wasted the last 10 years.
Yeah. And I think that's important, because a lot of people, that's not in everyone.
Mm-hmm.
That's not in everyone. Some people are just comfortable to go to their job, go back home.
If it makes you happy.
If it makes you happy.
My best friend, my best man at my wedding, my best friend,
Yeah.
he will always tell, he's an electrician, makes incredible money, does what he loves, gets home at 4, and doesn't want to do side jobs. I dragged him out to a side job the other day because I had to do some stuff, and he's like, bro, I don't do side jobs. I know, it's not for money. It's not that he doesn't care or want or need. He's like, he's a happy dude. He's a happy guy.
Happy
And
where he's
that's
at.
so inspirational.
Yeah.
You don't have to be grinding all the time to be like, you could be a happy person having a job.
Of course.
And I don't think any of us are knocking that. Like,
Yeah.
there's
No.
I applaud
Yeah.
that. Like, I have friends that work incredible corporate jobs or work labor. They're construction workers.
Yeah.
They come home at a good time. They get to eat dinner with their wife.
They get to leave
watch
work at home.
They get home and they're not worried about what's at work.
Yeah.
That is incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, we have to applaud that more.
course.
Like, when I just mentioned my friend who's an electrician, we have to applaud
I
that
know.
more,
Yeah.
because that is being happy when you come home and going to bed happy is all that matters.
Yeah.
Well, chase happiness first, always.
All
Chase
day.
happiness first, and then money second, if that's the next thing you want, or maybe money's fifth thing on your list.
Yeah, because
Who
you understand
knows?
that you don't necessarily don't need the money
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
what he wants. Like,
For what you
execute what he makes,
Yeah.
or anybody makes, and be like, I can do everything I love in this bracket all day.
I'm
I'm
good
gonna
here.
retire
Yeah.
at 63.
Yeah. I'm good here.
and I'm gonna be good.
Yeah.
It's like
That
a
is
blessing
amazing.
and a curse for us
Of course.
that we want to become millionaires, billionaires.
Yeah.
Fucking we never stop, man. Of
course.
And we talk about this all the time. This guy's hitting me up 2 a.m. I'm like, dude, you should have been asleep already.
Yeah.
bro.
I'm sending this guy mansions at 2. I'm like, yo, I'm buying this for your 30th birthday.
Like crazy.
That's right.
It's a blessing and
Yeah.
a curse, but it's what we love, right? And now that
It's what we love.
it's what
Yeah.
we love, and that's a full circle back to money buys happiness and the type of people that would watch this or listen to this.
Yeah.
Right?
I think there's a mix, because there's people that look at people like us and they're like, I want to be that. I want to
Yeah.
do that. But that's not what makes them happy. So they'll come into it, try and be an
100%.
entrepreneur, try and do it art. And let's say they did the first couple pieces free and no one's buying their shit.
Creative
They're
is
not-
miserable.
They're not going to do it
Oh,
anymore,
at the
because
beginning,
the
man,
only
it's
reason
so
you stay
miserable.
consistent is because you love it.
Yeah.
So if you're just doing
Because
something
for years
the money,
I was not selling art. Of
course.
Like, everyone needs to understand
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
For years, all those pictures, my rewind 5 years ago, they're in my Zia's living room or my parents' living room that I put up a piece of art for free
Yeah.
and took a picture.
Yeah.
Right. And so that people need to understand that.
Yeah.
Well, one thing we talk about on an earlier podcast is, I don't know if I said it or he said it, it's that like entrepreneurship is a constant struggle.
Yeah.
Like you're never not struggling, and struggling not in necessarily a bad way, but struggling to solve this problem or solve that problem, or oh shit, we need to invest in that, so we need this and do that, and oh my god, this
Because
job's coming up, and
What it comes, I didn't mean to cut you off. Sorry.
no, go. Yeah.
What it comes down to is our goals. Do you know the rapper NF? Are you
I
familiar
don't
with
know.
NF? You probably heard
Okay.
a couple of his songs. I don't even remember the song name, but there's a song
Yeah.
where he says one line. I'm paraphrasing the line, but he says that I was reaching for my goals, but I know I'll never reach them because every time I reach my goal, by the time I've reached it, I've already set a higher
Right
one.
next to it. Yeah.
And that's why it's so difficult.
Yeah.
Because if you rewind my life 7 years and be like, Anthony, you're going to have a gallery in Yorkdale, or Anthony, you're going to quit your job to become an artist.
Yeah.
Be like, no, that's all I ever wanted. There's no
Yeah.
way it's going to happen.
Until
That
you
is
get it.
all I ever wanted.
Mhm.
Then you get it.
Yeah.
And you're like, no, what else do I want now?
yeah,
Okay. Well, then I get it.
Yeah.
What else do I want now? Okay. Talk about materialistic things. Oh,
Yeah.
you got the watch?
Yeah.
okay, but I want another.
The new one just
Yeah,
came
I
out
want the
though.
new one now. Yeah.
You got the gallery there?
Yeah.
But I want one in Miami.
Yeah.
But it's even as scary that like even when you see like the light at the end of the tunnel, like I'm about to get that
You're already
gallery.
ready for the next one. You're already ready for the next one.
You're already 10 years ahead. You're like holy
All day.
shit. Yeah.
So, and you don't, and that is a worry sometimes because a lot of times I've let, I look back, it's my last gallery is closing right now in Yorkdale, and then we're going to reconfigure maybe end of the year, opening up a new one. Don't know what I'm doing yet.
Beauty.
But I look back and I'm like, damn, I didn't enjoy being in that singular moment enough. Mm-hmm. I think back to all 3 galleries and all the different events we've done there and the event that we did together and all this different stuff. Like, I wish I paused a little bit in the midst of them and been like, whoa, this is cool.
Yeah, look around.
Right?
Yeah.
Instead of as soon as I got one gallery, I'm already planning the other.
Yeah.
Right? Like I've had multiple galleries going on now for 3 years, internationally too. And on top of that, murals running around doing murals.
Yeah.
So it's you have to take a step back as well.
Sure.
Right? And that doesn't mean relax. I mean just take a step back to enjoy it.
Yeah.
Enjoy
where you're at. Yeah, because you might never be back there again, and it's something that you're gonna look back and be like, holy shit.
Yeah,
I actually did that, right? But that's now kind of the cool thing about obviously social media and
photos
the technology
and social media.
we have. Yeah, man, because we can kind of document it for ourselves, which is such a cool thing, right?
So important.
Yeah.
It's so important. We look back. I have this app called Time Hop. I don't know if you guys are familiar.
Yeah.
It's a cute app. I'm not sponsored by anybody. I just like it.
Shout out Time Hop.
I like it because it's linked to all my social profiles and my photo album.
Yeah.
And every day I go on, and it'll tell me what I did last year, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 4 years ago.
At that day.
On that day.
Amazing.
From and I used to use Twitter like 10 years ago, 10, 12 years ago.
Yeah.
So I have all the old tweets. I'm
Yeah.
like, what did I, sweet.
What was I saying?
I
Lil Wayne lyrics and
I want to
shit.
pop it open right now. I didn't look today. One sec.
Yeah.
Let's do this really super quick. Just for
That's
fun.
amazing.
I have no idea what I did last year.
I gotta
Let's
hop
see.
on there too, man.
So May 22nd of 1 year ago, I had a class in came by the gallery.
Yeah.
1 year ago, I wrote "Enjoy the moment always."
Love
That's
it.
weird. Come on.
Yo, show it to the camera. Give it to the camera.
Oh my
show the
god,
camera
this
that
is
one.
crazy.
Yo.
I don't know why. I was
Can
on,
we get that? We got that?
I don't know why I was on Twitter a year ago.
That's
And I wrote,
crazy.
Enjoy the moment always, not knowing that a year later we were going to be talking about enjoying the moment.
Come on.
And right
man.
after we just finished saying that.
But
That
it's
is-
even crazy
that's
to look
wild.
back on it. And I was doing this the other day with my tweets because I was
Oh my
10
God,
years ago, I was
it's
going nuts with
crazy.
Twitter,
Yeah.
right? It's just crazy to see that, like, if you asked me, just in general, say, did you have this kind of mindset back then? I would say, no fucking way, no. But I go back on my tweets and my Instagram posts and my Facebook, and it's like, I was kind of trying to say the stuff I'm saying today.
You're on
10
that
years
track,
ago, I was
yeah.
on that track,
Yeah.
right? Whether it was from a lyric or a quote or a picture, right? And it's crazy just to see
Dude,
it.
this is weird. This
Yeah.
is weird. This is weird.
Yeah,
This is
it's
weird. No, this
crazy.
is weird. I told a story about me going to my boss to quit.
Yeah.
About
Yeah.
me wanting to quit. It was after spending a weekend in Muskoka. I spent a weekend with my wife
Yeah.
and my friend in Muskoka. I went back that Monday to my boss to quit. He said, "No, don't quit yet. Do this." It was. I said it was 5 years ago. It was 4 years ago today.
Amazing.
It was literally 4 years ago today.
Dude, I just got goosebumps.
That is so
Amazing, man.
crazy.
Amazing.
Oh my God, this is at my friend's cottage, and
Yeah.
that when I've only been there once, and when we came home, I told my boss that Monday, like, I'm quitting. He's like, no, just work from home. That whole
Come
story I said
on.
early
It's
on,
the exact
it was
story.
4 years ago
Come
today.
on.
Yo,
Oh,
come on,
man. Let's
You
see
know
what
what?
else.
That's too crazy,
This
bro.
guy was texting me late last night. He's like, "Yo, do you feel like something like big is about to happen?"
This is weird. This happened.
And then I'm just like, or something big just been happening.
on Facebook.
Yeah, just-
on Facebook 10 years ago, I wrote, "Be authentic because being original doesn't cut it."
Yeah. Damn.
Wow,
Slice it up.
weird.
Slice it up.
Weird.
Let's go.
And then this picture was taken 13 years ago, me playing baseball.
Come on.
Yes.
Look at the kid, eh? Let's go.
That
love
is
it.
weird. Okay.
amazing.
So anyways,
no, that's
It's
amazing.
fun to look back. It's
why
fun to look back.
documenting is important
Yeah.
is because that moment right
Yeah.
there.
Uh-huh.
10 years ago, I wrote that.
Yeah.
4 years ago, I was doing
Yeah.
that. Like, and you can be like, whoa.
Yeah.
And I do that all the time now.
Yeah.
I go back and be like, this, my friend posted, I reshared it on my Instagram. My friend, I used to rap in college.
I gotta
Okay.
hear
Oh,
that.
shit.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
shit.
We can
Oh,
talk about.
shit.
Actually, I'm happy to dive into that because it
Yeah.
has a very crucial understanding of how to build something.
Yeah.
Sure.
Very early on. But
Please.
to think back to all those old songs I used to do, I think to them now, and like they're still relevant 8-12 years ago.
Yeah.
And it, like the things I was saying, I wasn't even living through, or I was like wanting to live through, and I'm living through them now, and it's like super, super surreal. But to touch upon rap very, very quickly, that is proof that like a white kid from Toronto can go down to Montgomery, Alabama, and become a rapper. Like I opened up for 2 Chainz and Yo Gotti and Travis Porter and a bunch of yeah, I had big shows down south. Yeah, for real.
Wow.
Yeah. Because I wanted to.
Yeah.
But like I just liked rap music, and I'm not a good rapper by any means. I had a couple cute songs, but when I actually go back, and I was talking to my friend yesterday about this because he found it and he asked me about a song, and I sent him the whole discography. I had like 3 mixtapes and a ton of singles, like 50, 60 songs. That's not 3 songs.
Where were you recording this, by the way?
There's at Alabama State University was a massive music program.
Okay.
And they had a full-blown professional studio with engineers and everything. Yeah, it was like real deal. Like
I was like, man, was this guy in the dorm room just like spitting
bars?
Too. Like,
I did that too. And I did like before that in high school, I had some fun with some friends we rapped as well.
Cool.
But in universities, like when I did my full-out mixtapes, music videos.
Yo, you got to get us a coffee, man. We got to get a coffee. One of my good
friends. Yeah, no, I'm happy to. One of my good friends from my baseball team as well, his name's Euro. He actually got signed to Lil Wayne. He's on Young Money.
Oh shit.
Yeah, like he's won awards and stuff. Yeah. He's huge. And a couple of like my other friends have done extremely well in the music industry.
Yeah.
And so I most of my songs have, like when I think back to things, I have Euro on them, and his debut single was with Lil Wayne and Birdman. Yeah. And like it's super surreal, right? I was just talking to him when I was he lives in Miami now. But to touch upon that is I wanted to become a rapper, and when I had Instagram wasn't that big, and SoundCloud. Yeah, there definitely wasn't SoundCloud rappers like there is today and all this different stuff. This is a while ago.
Yeah.
And I said, let me start local. So I started reaching out to my school, and like we would have big artists come because we're a big university in the South, and Montgomery's right near Atlanta. So a lot of the Atlanta rappers would come in, and like Lil Yachty went to my school. Like so, that's like crazy. A bunch of rappers came out of 2 Chainz went to my school. He played basketball at ASU. Yeah, so a bunch of like big rappers came out of my school. So I reached out to I didn't know who to reach out to. I reached out to student council, all the different people. I'm like, I want to rap. We have a huge basketball stadium. Like when you guys are doing a show, I want to open. What, were you gonna hire an opener? No, I go to school here. Let me open.
Here,
and that's what gave me a break into doing that. And like I was able to open up for major artists through my school, which then led to like the local radio, which then led to local shows. That's crazy. I always think back, and I joke about it now, but like I really believe, it sounds so funny, but like I really believe if I wanted to become a rapper, I could have.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that from a cocky standpoint. It's just that I knew what it relatively took, and it just took extreme dedication. That doesn't mean I would have had a number 1 single or become a big rapper. I just could have become one. Right? Like, and that's the second thing people understand. Like, you don't have to be the biggest artist in the world, but if that would have made me happy, it eventually didn't make me happy. Eventually, like, I fell out of love with it. And just like baseball took over, finance took over, and life did. And rap wasn't in my trajectory. But if I wanted to, I could have.
Could have on the right path for sure.
I've talked to local artists in Toronto, musicians. And they're like, no one's gonna like have me perform. I'm like, have you walked into every single bar, or DJs too? Have you walked into every single bar and asked them on Monday night, Thursday night, Friday night, Sunday night, can I just perform? Perform 3 songs for free? You can say you have a live performer. Most will say yes. I don't want money. I'm just gonna come in there and perform 4 songs. And if you did that for 2 years, you would be successful. I really believe it. I really believe it.
I agree with that. I had this conversation with someone yesterday. Same thing. Like, what I was saying was, and it's a little more vague. That was a little more specific. But just if you have, like, let's say, like an issue in your life, or you have a goal that you want to reach, but you're not truly putting in the work. Like, I can't sit back and be like, oh, I feel bad for you, or I want to help you. It comes down like to, it's cliche, but it just comes down to hard work.
Like we know if we don't hit a target, or it's usually because we need to work harder to hit it. That's usually it.
I look at
rarely
things
about
failed.
the talent. It's really about like
we're talking about all the positives, right? But I've failed 1,000 times, and I look at all of those failures, whether they're in the gallery, whether with pieces, whether with installations, and I'm like, it is 100% my fault. I didn't work hard. Like, let's just be serious.
But did you accept that? That's the thing.
You like after when I look back at those things, it's like if you don't learn from it, if I don't work hard again, then that's my fault. Right, and I'll never learn.
Of course.
But if I look back and say, like, you know what, I didn't work hard there, and I didn't deserve to be successful with that project. If you really look yourself in the mirror, you'd be like, bro, you didn't work hard.
You
know what you
destiny.
did. You know what you did. I can flex on Instagram. We can make it look like we're working so hard, But I know people that will post a 7 p.m., leaving the office when they got to, I'm leaving the office working so hard.
Yeah.
When they got to work at 10:30, they took a 2-hour lunch.
Yeah.
They chilled on Instagram from 2 to 4.
Yeah.
And then they got caught up with a late night meeting and then to leave at 7, but they're like, oof, killed it today working at 7.
Yeah.
You're only lying yourself.
Listen, like we even talked about that on previous podcasts and fake it till you make it type thing, right?
Yeah.
And like you can fake it till you make it, but eventually you're gonna have to make it, and you're
eventually-
like you
and
just
work is
can't
gonna
keep
make
faking it. Like
and a work is gonna make it.
I agree that you can fake it till you make it in certain industries
Sure.
to show legitimacy and show that you're working in whatever you want to do, but eventually it'll catch up. And like you said, you're gonna have to look at yourself in the mirror, and say it doesn't even matter if everyone thinks I fucking worked. I didn't.
All day,
right?
And like you just said, you're eventually gonna have to make it. You won't make it.
Yeah. When it comes down to really showing the product or whatever, it's not there.
It's not there.
Or hitting that goal, you're not gonna hit.
There's like studies of in music, in rap a lot. Like back to rap, of like faking to make because they already have the jewels and all this stuff. There's studies that have been proven that like maybe that guy had one single, but from when he was 9 to 13 on the stoop with his buddy, they made 700 songs.
Yeah.
And they perfected their flow and they perfected their execution. So although it wasn't necessarily, in album sales at the time, the work was there.
The work was all there.
Yeah.
The work was there. Right? Like I think back to painting, and for years I just painted every single night. I wasn't painting for anything. Like nothing. Now people say to me like, "Oh, you painted I painted that live. There's a painting in here that I painted live and I painted most of it live." And people are like, you finished the painting so quick. I'm like, no, bro. Like, it took years.
Took me 10
There's
years.
an amazing story about Picasso. I don't know if you guys have heard about it. I'll repeat it. A lady comes to him in a cafe and passes him a napkin. There's a little napkin. She's like, Picasso. He was already famous at the time. Can you please do a sketch for me? He's like, of course. So he does a scribble, like a legitimate scribble, writes Picasso. He goes, that'll be $15,000. And she's like, 15,000? It took you 1 second. He's like, no. This took a lifetime of work. And it's the best quote ever. Because it did. Right, and that's what happened. No one sees it.
Maybe
and that's
people
what
just see you.
looking,
They see you spent that 2 hours on the painting. Now it's worth 220 G's. They're like,
how?
It's because it took you 10 years. To get to that point, right? So it's important. That's a huge part, and that just takes maturity and learning through experiences and stuff like that, right?
But it comes back to looking at yourself in the mirror and being like, bro, did you really work today? I remember when I used to work, like I wasn't the best employee. Like I hope my boss hears this. Like I really didn't. Day to day, like I didn't do incredible work all day because I was mentally focused on other things. I knew the work I was putting in wasn't 100%. Right, because I was going to go do 100% at night, but that's not 100% work for the employer that I had. And that's unfair to the employer. And if it's unfair to the employer, when you're doing it on your own, it's unfair to yourself. So if I would have taken that trait as like, we in our modern day, it's like, okay, it's okay. Yeah, it's fine. They're still a big company. They're going to be fine without me. Or if I work half a day here, like slack off most of the day, they won't even notice. But now you're on your own.
It's on you.
Now you're on an entrepreneur. Now you're a creative and you have no one that you're reporting to. You're literally looking yourself in the mirror. You did nothing. Especially a lot of real estate or mortgage brokers, some people that are on commission only. It's like, bro, if you didn't get out there and grind, you're the one suffering. There's no one to report to anymore.
Of course.
That salary's not there. That paycheck's not there.
Right?
So
if you slack, it's on you, right? And
you're only lying to yourself.
And that's the biggest thing. You have to just face yourself at the end of every day. And whether you work for someone or not, like you should always carry that mindset, right? Just be honest with yourself. And if you can honestly say to yourself, I'm doing the best I can in whatever it is I'm doing or whatever goal I'm trying to reach, then you'll find yourself
happy.
in a good place.
100%. You knowing that is sleep is so underrated in terms of going to sleep happy and knowing that you did everything that you could to put yourself in a good position, even if it's not working out, will allow you to sleep.
I have a question. Do you remember the first painting you sold?
It's the first painting I sold.
Or mural? Or maybe mural. Or
sold. That's tricky. Yes. The answer is yes. It would have been to a couple of family, extended family and friends.
Let's say outside of family and friends, like a stranger, like the first person that came to you and said hey, I want to buy this.
Yeah, I didn't. Well, okay. We'll say for substantial dollars.
Okay. Sure.
The first time with my big transaction would have been in Yorkdale. My first transaction over $2,000. Let's say. And I put up all the art, and this is so funny how creative works. Ready? There's 30 pieces. One painting I worked 3 months on all these pieces, and they all took me such a long time, and there were so many concepts and all these different stuff that I wanted to do. There's one piece that I had in the back. I didn't finish it, and it was half done. It didn't even look that good. I didn't like it at all, actually. I literally threw some paint because there's this empty spot in the back corner of the gallery. Yeah. I threw some paint on it. I'm like, I'm going to leave this as an abstract. I don't even really care about it. I sign it. Without a word of a lie, the second person that walks into my gallery in Yorkdale walked to that painting. He was like, how much is this? $2,500. At the time, it wasn't that big. And I was like, I just put a price tag on it. Yeah. She's like, cool. Yeah, I need it. I want it. She bought it. The painting that I didn't like the most, I mean, I still liked it. It was my art, but like I didn't like it. Yeah. And it was, the transaction was substantial. Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh my God, this is crazy. Yeah. This is life. Yeah. Right. Okay. Now let's sell art. And there's been a couple highlights, obviously, when I've sold an extremely expensive piece of art, or when I've done like a massive mural. And there's a bunch of different highlights, but that was one highlight that really sticks out. Was that first lady walking in and being like, "I want that one." I'm like,
"That's the one." Yeah, you chose that.
That's the one. Yeah. Yes, that's crazy. When I've done the couple murals early on, Figures was an early mural of mine that I love. So sick. I love. And it was a concept that I actually did that concept in New York. I did a concept a couple times. Then our friends, Patrick had reached out to me through the designer, PD Lab, and they said like, well, we got this designer doing the whole interior. We want you to do the front, and this is the concept. It's a vintage. I remember going into Figures when it was just all gutted when Pat just took it over, and it was awesome to see. It was so cool. A funny thing is, I was still working at the time when I did that. So every night I would work on that mural. Wow. I was still working. I did an interview with CTV. Michelle Dubé did the interview. I still had a full-time job. Yeah. I did an interview on CTV of top artist does new mural. Like, it's funny. You go look at it. Does new mural. And Pat's on the thing as well, saying like, top artist does new mural. Yeah, we hired him because like, he's one of the biggest artists. So when that aired, I was sitting in my cubicle.
You're still in a cubicle. That's amazing.
I literally still worked. I was still working. That's how crazy it was. Like that's how much time it takes and how much thing. Yeah. So I literally, my office was in Yorkville, and so it's very close to Figures. So I would walk there after work and finish it. It took me a month to do that mural. Yeah. I do that type of mural now in one day. Yeah. To tell you like the difference of it, I've done that type of mural 60 times now. Yeah. Sure. Globally, like I've done that type of mural in Brazil, in Manchester, in London, in Miami, LA, all over. Yeah. It takes me a day to do it. Yeah. It took me a month. Yeah. Because I had to do it when I could. Yeah. Right? Like it's crazy. It's funny.
And the Figures one is sick. I
thank you.
And I seen the pic of you with Shaq.
Yeah. So I've been super grateful on on a celebrity side of things. Yeah. Back when I had a clothing line that a partner of mine started, it was called Dust to Gods. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I remember. Just about a year and a half ago, sold it to the partner. I want to focus on canvas and galleries and such. So he's still a great friend and doing an excellent job with the brand. But we were exposed through that type of work, wearable art, to a ton of celebrities. A ton. Yeah. Like the list was sort of silly. Yeah. We would get an email. Whoa, Demi Lovato's wearing it. The Migos are wearing it. This person, and like these people are buying it out of stores, which is like surreal. We didn't even send it to them. Like it was, super, super grateful. And I think it's just because at the time we were doing a unique pieces of art done by an artist, like very different. Yeah. It just worked. Yeah. On a canvas side of things, a lot of times people would approach me with an opportunity like this celebrity was coming into town, or a couple of the big the Shaq or a couple other ones that I've done. Their management or tour management would be like, we want to purchase this for Shaq. We want to do this for a charity that Shaq's going to be at, or with James Harden, or like whoever it may be that I've done art for. It'd be like, this person's going to be here. Do you want to do a piece? And sometimes it'd be like, especially early on, it's like, there's no budget. You're just going to do the piece with a celebrity. Yeah. It's like, cool. And as a creative, you balance that out. You figure out like, do I want to? Mm-hmm. Do I want to do it for free? Do I want to charge them something, whatever it may be? Yeah. Shaq specifically was a charity event in Vancouver, and a guy reached out to me and said, "Listen, we want to do this. We want you to do some paintings for the charity. They're going to raffle off anywhere between $25,000 to $35,000. You'll be able to raise money for a charity. Beautiful. Awesome. It's for kids with disabilities and sickness." I'm like, this is amazing. I'm all in. Yeah. It's in Vancouver. Also, Shaq's going to be there. So when I heard Shaq was going to be there, I'm like, here's my idea. Yeah. I'm going to do 6 paintings with Shaq. We're going to donate a bunch of them. I'm going to keep one. I'm going to keep 2, actually. Yeah. One's in my dad's house. Yeah. I'm going to keep 2. and I'm going to give him one. Not knowing, Shaq is not knowing of this.
Yeah.
I do not know if this is going to work. It's just a concept.
Yeah.
Sure.
So we're like, let's do it. I paint 6 paintings Shaq, ship them out. Me and my wife fly to Vancouver. That night, I'm standing there with the painting, and Shaq walks in. He's like, who did that? Like, what is that? I'm like, hey, nice to meet you. The guy's he's a monster, super nice guy. And actually, so then he got pulled away by media, and his bodyguard, who's been with him since he was 19, who's his uncle, is an ex-retired police chief of staff for the police in Chicago, I think he was from. He starts talking to me. I'm explaining my story. I'm explaining my art. I'm explaining my Division I history and sports. He's like, so what's the concept? You want Shaq to sign your paintings? I'm like, yeah, I want to give him one if he likes it, and then I want him to sign 5 for me. We'll donate 3. I'm keeping 2. He's like, crazy concept. Let me see if he likes the painting and start. He walks over to Shaq. Shaq, you like the painting? He's like, yeah, it's amazing. Cool. Let's do it. He ends up signing all the paintings for me. I had them in the back.
Way.
He signs all the paintings for me.
Way.
And he's like, and he picked the one he wanted. He's like, I'm taking this one. Takes it home with me. Fast forward 2 years. I don't know if you guys saw. I posted it as well.
This is where I saw it.
He sold his house. When you walked into his house that he mainly lived in, it was the front. As soon as you walk in his house, that painting was framed right there. It was crazy.
That's unreal, man.
And that's surreal to see because, so I didn't charge him, right? But it's surreal to see that you do a piece of art for someone, for them to like it enough to make it the staple of their entire house when someone walks into their house.
For someone like
it's
Shaquille
surreal.
O'Neal
And
as
it's
well.
Shaq,
Like,
bro. We're not talking about fucking.
You're not talking about someone that
Surreal.
doesn't encounter artists. Like this
Yeah, I
guy.
know.
This guy knows a lot of artists, and he can get his hands on art if he wants to.
Of course,
So that's
yeah,
amazing.
of course,
man.
yeah. It was super surreal. And now I have 2 at home signed by him,
Amazing.
which
man.
are really cool. Yeah,
Amazing.
so it's and the rest they donate. They raise like $40,000 for charity, which is crazy.
Yeah, well, and that makes you feel amazing. Like,
Of course,
that's,
right? Like
you know,
that's
you were a piece of that.
Yeah. And we've been doing to go on to charity. Like we've been doing a lot of fun stuff recently. Cass, like my wife and I, she worked a lot with Hull and Blue Review, which is a kids rehabilitation hospital for kids with special needs. She worked, there growing up. Her brother went there growing up, so it was near and dear to her heart. So we did a release. Now using Platform for Good, we did a release of sculptures where 100% of the proceeds, like 100% of everything we made, went to the charity. We in like 2 hours raised $10,000.
It's amazing.
It was amazing.
It's amazing.
And we're actually this is the first time I'm saying it live. So in a couple of weeks, we're releasing a collection with Vitali accessories and jewelry.
Dope.
Here in Toronto, we're doing my heart design, my heart necklace.
Yeah.
Yes.
We're doing a silver and a gold plated heart, where it's going to be a really interesting platform that the heart will start at $10. We're making 1,000. People can come on and pay whatever they want for the heart.
Cool.
Open platform.
Cool.
100, not proceeds, not percentage, not $1, not $2. 100% of the money we raise will go to mental health text hotline, because we feel that coming out of COVID, we're in the middle of quarantine still. Coming out of COVID, there's gonna be a lot of suppressed mental problems that come from this because loss of jobs, just being away from family and friends, missing people. There's gonna be a lot of mental health things that come. So we wanted to use a text platform.
That's crazy.
With text hotline. So that'll be releasing hopefully in a couple weeks.
Amazing,
Early June. I'll let you guys know all the details, but it's gonna be crazy. And I think that the platform, like if someone wants to support with $10, they'll get a custom 1 out of 1,000 necklace, which is amazing.
Yeah.
You want to donate 100, donate 100.
Yeah.
Right? Like it's going to be like a well-made, incredible necklace with the heart design. And the concept that we're having behind it is to spread love. So our goal is that you'll buy one for him. You'll send it to him. You'll send one to him. So you'll be able to send, like, I'm thinking of you, even though we can't connect right now, even though we're in quarantine, I'm thinking of you, sending you some love.
That's amazing.
And you can do it for as little as $10, which is like crazy.
Yeah.
That's a cool
and
concept.
I think it's going to be a really fun concept. And then, and when Shane and the Vitali team were like, we're going to donate legitimately 100% of what we earn, we're like, I'm only in if it's that.
Yeah, couldn't say no to that.
I'm only in. Like, I don't want to make a cent, and they don't want to make a cent. We're like, I don't want to do the charity stuff half-assed. Yeah. If we're gonna do it, let's go all out. Let's raise a ton.
Of course.
So I'm like super excited about that.
Yeah.
It's gonna be
that's
really
crazy.
You gotta keep us posted.
Dean, where we at, bro? Where we at?
Oh,
see, I'm good. I'm usually
wrap it up.
That flew.
Okay, well, we'll wrap it up. I know you have some stuff to do, but before we leave,
Yeah.
Any piece of advice for creatives? I know that's kind of more your route. So, any piece of advice for any creative listening to this, watching this, before we hop out of this?
For sure, I think do what you love and do it consistently as possible. And we spoke a lot about consistency, and to speed that up is doing what you love may not be obvious. Like, you may not know you love canvas, you may not know you love photography. Do a lot consistently, and something will come from it.
Of course,
right?
Awesome.
That's all I believe. Just And just do it consistently. I can't stress consistency enough. Doing something twice a week is not enough.
Yeah.
100%.
Do it consistently, and it'll all work out.
Yeah.
Awesome, man.
All right.
Appreciate
Thanks,
that.
man.
That's
Thank
big.
you guys
We're gonna have you back.
so
We're gonna have you
much.
back,
Thank you.
though.
100%. Thank you.
And we are out.
Honey, don't get everything is